Well, we return with the Premier League title race tense and hotting up, and we've got a potential banana skin coming up a bit later today. But first is a blockbuster Carabao Cup Semi Final. Who thought you'd be saying that about Sheffield United versus Southend at the start of the save? We've got a narrow advantage as we go away from home to what looks like it's going to be a frozen pitch. It's going to be a difficult tie, and goals are going to be required. So it's a good job we've got a new superstar striker. Yes, hello, and welcome along to part 125 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. We are in a very big title battle between, you have to say, six sides, including today's opponent, Sheffield United. 6 points separating six teams, no one able to be consistent. And today we've got a chance to get to our first ever Carabao Cup final and strengthen our position in the Premier League with a win away at 19th place Bournemouth. Before all of that, though, it is transfer deadline day. And at Southend United, it has been a busy January. Last time out, if you weren't here, we lost our star striker Dion Kranic. Yes, it was a magnificent sum of money, but replacing the goals is a more difficult task. We've had a go at that, maybe not started that well, but we've got a good signing in. We'll meet them in a minute. If you're looking forward to seeing how he gets on in these two games and whether or not there's any more additions on the final day of the window, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. I'm going to take you through to the transfer screen first, because there is a potential signing for the future coming in. And we've also done a little bit more work with free agents for the end of the summer, because we missed out on the centre half that we really wanted to get in. He's opted to join Arsenal to make the title race even more difficult next year. But the man we have secured on a free agent deal in the summer is Fabrizio Bettini, a 28-year-old goalkeeper from Napoli who is exceptional, probably pretty similar to Jude Sadler, and slightly better than McNaughton. We're starting to get big offers from Saudi for Sadler again. He is into his 30s now, so this might be a natural replacement. At the very least, though, we sign Bettini and we sell him for a profit the next year. It's going to be that or a very good goalkeeper we gain out of it. So great signing to come in the future. The man we're looking to sign today is Tom Frode-Gouliard. He has popped up in a number of our scout reports, and in the end, we just went for it. Doesn't really fit our tactic at the minute, but I'm looking at him as either a future sale for a big profit, or I'm also looking at him as a potential, could you become a striker if you keep developing? He's 18 years of age. He's already playing for Norway. He's already playing in Europe and scoring goals for Bodo Glimt. He looks a proper superstar. So I want to see if we can get him in for less than 10 million quid, then loan him out a couple of times, see if he develops, and then move him on. Simple as that. We've got to start thinking about that sort of business operation when it comes to the club. And if we go to the transfer history, we have also got to think about replacements, because Dion Kranic left the club in the last episode for £150 million with plenty of other future fees as well. We've replaced him for 63. But before we do that, we've got another out. Hector Sanchez has finally left the club. The centre-half, the Mexican, has gone to Atletico Madrid. He has gone for 48 million, rising to potentially 54. A centre-half that we signed a couple of years ago for 16 million. Was a superstar in our first title push, played a bit part last season, and then has been involved occasionally this year as well due to injuries. We've replaced him with his younger compatriot in Vite, so he's moving on, and for that money, I can't turn it down. He's a good centre-half, mentally very strong, but he just didn't really fit us perfectly. He wasn't great in the air, wasn't great on the ball, and as we look to develop this side and control games a bit more, he wasn't going to be the man to do it. So very similar to Drew O'Day. Good ratings, but never became the superstar. We also loaned out Kevin Golobeck, the young goalkeeper. I say young, he's 24 now. He's gone to Falkirk the rest of the season. The reason I've done that is we've got another young goalkeeper coming through who should become third choice next year. So Golobeck can move on. I've got no issue with that. Let's get to the big in note. £63 million. Don't think it's the biggest signing still. No, Jan Carlos just pipped him. But from Ajax, we have signed a superstar striker. Or so I think, in Nana Fair. He has come in and he has scored one goal in 2 games. He's also missed a penalty, which is not ideal, but that's based on a glitch, which we'll talk about in a minute, where there's a guaranteed outcome. He is a 4.5-star ability advanced forward, the same as Kranic was. He is also a bit more adept in the target man role than we saw with other strikers we've had, and he is exceptional. 19 finishing, 18 acceleration, 17 pace, naturally fit, 6 foot tall, professional personality, 21 years of age, a better penalty taker supposedly, and great technique. We have got a superstar. And just like Kranjic, he can cover on the right of midfield as well. So there are literally no downsides. He was mainly coming off the bench in the Champions League for Ajax. I would love to know what striker they've got who's stronger than him. But he is going to be one of my gems. And I think once he gets settled in, maybe by the end of this season, we'll then see the best of him next year. But another evidence that Ashley Carr is never going to become the star striker because we keep finding better players than him. So Nana Fair, the great addition. But let's get through to the inbox because it's a transfer deadline day. We've been linked with another striker, but it's not going to happen. We've also been linked with an Aston Villa centre-half, basically a straight swap. They want Soren Hansen and we want Adamola, but I don't think that one's going to get done. So I'm expecting it to be a quiet day, maybe just the agreed deal for the Norwegian youngster, who we have agreed to loan back if we complete the deal. So for now, let's take part in deadline day. I guess the big news and the big question is, are we going to get any offers for our stars? There's a fair few players wanted, some of them fringe players in the squad, and Peter Bernberg, the ongoing saga, will it finally come to a close today? Let's get through deadline day and find out. Well, we might have planned on a quiet deadline day, but the director of football wants to be busy. He's made an offer for Hernandez, who is a 4-star centre-half for £27 million. Now, he's got my ears perked up. I'm interested here. Just don't be like 5'9", please. 6'3". Holy smokes, he might have found a superstar. Natural left footer as well. And yet another Mexican. So we could potentially have sent Sanchez there and got a replacement for less money. I'm not sure how this offer gets accepted based on what they wanted from the scout report. Is he better than Sanchez? I'm not sure about that. Let me compare him if I can. There he was. He was showing up there. Let's see the difference. Hector Sanchez, better attacking, better speed, not as good in the air, not as good technically. I'm not sure there's much between them. I think the scouts might have slightly overrated him. I'm not sure we're going to complete the deal. But either way, nice to see good offers going in. Well, 2 words put paid to the deal for that Mexican centre-half, and those words were injury prone. So we ignored that deal. What we have got, though, is our first deal of the day, possibly our only one, for Tom Froda Gouillard. He comes in from Bodo Glimt, where he will return for the rest of the season. 7.25 million up front. Money after international and league appearances for us. So if we loan him out and then sell him, we won't have to pay that 700 grand. Any appearances for internationals? Well, that just depends on how he develops. I'd expect him to make them. 16 grand a week is next to no wage, really. So let's accept that deal and loan him back. But Tom Gouillard is our new signing. Hopefully, he'll develop into a superstar. Well, there's our confirmation. Gouillard is 2.5-star ability, but apparently 5-star potential. A proper player for the future. That's based on what Colo Touré said. Why would I doubt him? He's an official wonder kid. He's got a fairly professional personality. The future looks very bright for him. We have missed out on a young Saudi player who has chosen to go to Arsenal instead. Another one that didn't really fit the tactic, but fit the billing as a good young player. So another one that slipped through the net there, unfortunately. Arsenal just stealing all the players we want. A reminder of the young centre-half we were trying to get on a free agent deal. This guy is joining Arsenal for free in the summer. They pipped us by 10 grand a week. We offered him a record wage and it still wasn't enough. 10 hours to go. I'd expect the rest of the day to be silent unless we get offers for some of these boys. Well, it has indeed been a quiet finish to the day. So here's the confirmation of what went on. Gouillard joins for 7.25 million, goes back out on loan immediately. Kranjic left to Real Madrid for 150 million with a sell-on clause and a future fee as well. Nana Fair is his replacement for £63 million. And then out goes Hector Sanchez, the 5th choice centre-half for 48 million to Atletico. Again, a few more fees potentially there. And for 36 million, we signed a new midfielder, Luis Marciano, the wonder kid from Benfica. Looks like a star for the future. Overall, our wage expenditure, still only the 9th biggest in the Premier League. And our transfer roundup, yes, we spent the most money, but you sure as hell know we bought in the most as well. So let's see how we fare with all that done for the rest of the season. We'll be back in a minute to look at our recent results and get into the big second leg at Sheffield United. Well, it's fitness test time, and boy, are there a lot of them. 5 players, including Luis Vasquez, who is back from his broken ankle and can finally go on the bench today. There are other players looking good as well, but we'll get to all that in a minute. Let's have a look at the schedule and see what's been going on, because Since you were last with me, we've been better, but not clinical. You can see why at the end of the last episode, we delayed the Kranjic deal for 1 week. I wanted him for one more appearance against Chelsea, and boy, did he go out in style. A hat-trick against Chelsea in a 4-2 victory, with Joe Wills getting a late goal as well. And that was the perfect way to send him off, keeping us in the title race, going to Real Madrid a hero, Dion Kranjic. I'll always be grateful for that. Stayed the extra week and delivered a big performance. Against Rangers, away from home in the Champions League, we went fairly strong and we did get a result. It was only a 1-1 draw though. Teddy Ivanov scored after first half injuries for Marciano and Carr. We did change the goalkeeper to McNaughton, but Dane Campbell got the equaliser for them. We then won against League One opposition in the FA Cup as Millwall were beaten 3-0. Had to be patient until the second half, but Ivanov Fair both scored up front and Kivrakidis got one from midfield as well. And a 1-0 victory away in France in the Champions League. It was an early goal from Julian Lucolano, followed by a very good performance by Logan McNaughton. Now, home to Aston Villa at the weekend, we went fairly strong and we lost Memic due to injury. Didn't work out for us that. Kivrakidis got a knock as well. Fair missed a penalty, which I mentioned. But Herbert and an Ivanov brace to the rescue to get us 3 points. It leaves us within 3 at the top of the table in the Premier League. And it leaves us in the Carabao Cup Semi Final second leg with a narrow advantage, as you saw from the last episode. We've drawn Liverpool in the FA Cup, so we know that one's going to be difficult. And it looks like, despite Liverpool losing at home to Portsmouth of League One in the second leg, we are going to be playing Liverpool in the final. 5-3, they won on aggregate. So if we get through this one, we'll probably lose the final anyway. But for now, let's focus on the fixtures and see how we get on. We hold a 2-1 advantage. We're going to have to make a lot of changes. We'll be back in a minute with what I think is our strongest team. And hopefully it'll be a good enough one to do the job. Well, today I would call this a bit of a half rotation, to be honest. We've tried to avoid the heavy match loads, but not rotate fully, because I feel we can rest a few against Bournemouth and still get the win. That might prove to be arrogant later on. We have changed the goalkeeper to bring in Logan McNaughton. Aguiman is back from AFCON at right back with De Angelis on the left. But it's the first choice centre-halves of Herbert and Rakowski in the middle. Might even go back to a central defender on defend there because, to be honest, he's not playing well in the ball-playing role. Yocolano is on the right-hand side. Vasquez returns from injury on the left, with Bernberg and Marciano the first-choice centre midfielders. And then up front, it is Ashley Carr and Joe Wills. We have not got a fully fit Fair, who's got a very heavy match load, and Ivanov much the same. So we're having to protect a few people, but hopefully we'll still do the job. We go away to Sheffield United with that slender 2-1 lead. But we dominated the last game. We lost away from home in the league. Who's going to win it? It's anyone's call, this. Well, 4 changes for Sheffield United. Zagara scored in the first leg. Vanna was rested. Jordan Evans comes in. And Kieran Peacock, of course on loan from us, is missing out today. So let's go and get through to the first half against Russell Martin's side. They're a top 6 team. They've won European trophies in this save. It is not the Sheffield United you're used to in real life. This is a club that is truly in the elite. It's 6 points off the top of the Premier League table. It's 3 points behind us. It's a top side. 10 minutes gone. It's been quiet so far. I'd take a boring 0-0 here. I know it's not what you want to see when you come and watch an episode, but a 0-0 draw and a first Carabao Cup final sounds absolutely fine by me. Well, 10 minutes to the break. There have been no shots on target in this game, but we have had a little warning about Yocolano having a bruised shin. He's not too bad at the minute, so we'll leave him on. Bruises shouldn't get worse. We get to half-time without a highlight or a shot on target, but I'm not complaining. Give me that at the end of the game and I'll be very happy. We're going to say, prove a point, keep the lads inspired, keep them motivated, and just try and keep them on the right track. 5 minutes gone in the second half. It's a Zagara corner for Sheffield United. We've missed the header, but my word, that rebound's over. First one was saved well by McNaughton. Second one, I've no idea how they missed it, but you can see they've definitely gone more aggressive this half. Is whether we can catch them on the counter. Zagara finds Vitor and now Omar. Back to Dorrington, up to Stockbridge, into Ray. It's a great first touch and it's off the post. We are living very dangerously and we have not come out for this second half very well at all. Sheffield United dominating the match. Vasquez struggling in his first game back. And also we've got Joe Wills, who is really starting to labour. So let's go and get the subs made. Bernberg struggling physically as well. So Torres on for him. We're going to go Vasquez off for Adamson. We're going to go Teddy Ivanov for Joe Wills. And I'm going to leave it at 3 for now. Just wanted to freshen it up. In fact, Robertson for Yocolano, who had that knock earlier too. 4 changes made. We're freshening up the midfield and attack. Can it give us a little bit of bite on the counter? They're telling us to put Roy Curley right back, which is not going to happen. But I am probably going to need Aguiman or Rakoski at the weekend. So what I'm going to do here, and it's a slightly defensive change, I think, is I'm going to go for... Or do I just go for the centre midfield choice, bring Jimenez on? No, I'm going to go for... I haven't even got the natural sub in the middle, have I? Because Vite is probably not the solution at this point. Someone who's barely played for us. I don't think I want to do that. I'm going to take Ashley Carr off for Joaquin Jimenez. I know this is a gamble late on in the game. But I'm going to put Jimenez into midfield. And I think I'm going to put Torres in like a deep line playmaker role. Might even do it with Jimenez, but I'm not going to. So we're going to go Marciano swap with Jimenez there. And Torres, you can just be a deep line playmaker on defend. We'll put a support duty for Marciano. And we'll put Robertson to a support duty too. Teddy Ivanov, you go through the middle as an advance forward. Do what you want up there. But just do some running for me. That's all I need. Not going to time waste yet or anything like that. We're 10 to go. We've gone 4-1-4-1. We are definitely here to hold on now. We're trying to show a little bit more tactical guys this year. Because we saw what happened in the Champions League last season. We've seen what's happened before in away legs. I just want it to pay off. I don't want to get caught out. Longley plays up to Stocksbridge. How with 5 in midfield have they got that much space? Oh, De Angelis, you lucky, lucky boy. An awful touch in your own penalty area. You are so fortunate that's hit the post. And while we may well have been unfortunate to only win 2-1 in the first leg, we are incredibly fortunate that this is still 0-0. So I don't think we can get too overexcited. Jimenez is going to be a centre mid on defend. Marciano, deep liar on support. We are now going to time waste all the time, be disciplined, play for set pieces. We are going to, in transition, slow the pace down. We're not even going to counter this time. We are just going to make sure that we are solid. A deeper defensive line of engagement. Let's just get in our own half and create a very compact area. 5 minutes added on. We are minutes from the Carabao Cup Final. It was not vintage. It was not exciting. But we're going to Wembley. We've got a chance to win this trophy for the first time. Boy, we don't deserve it on that performance. But we won. And that's all that matters. Now we've got 3 days to recover for the Bournemouth match. A game that could be a banana skin on paper. We need to win to stay in the title race. Back in a moment. See if we can. Well, it's big news as we head into the Premier League game against Bournemouth. Liverpool have played Brighton and lost. Brighton are now top of the table. They've come from nowhere. Mauricio scored the first goal of former player. But their recent seasons, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 4-5 years ago, but nothing since then. Gerhard Struber has got them flying. Liverpool dropped to 5th. Arsenal are held by Aston Villa and now stay 2nd. But we've got a game in hand on them and are only 4 points behind. And Newcastle get a win to move up to 3rd, but we can overtake them if we win this game in hand. Sheffield United have got a tough game at Spurs. We've got an easier task on paper, but how many of this team are going to be fit and how will we get on? To be fair, a lot of the key match loads aren't that heavy. We're going to rotate this a little bit. We'll see what 11 we can put out. Well, unfortunately, Memic is still not quite there. Aguiman is knackered at right back and Marciano's played 4 games in 2 weeks. He needs a breather. Ashley Carr is on the bench after a goal drought and a small knock, and Vasquez can't play him twice in 3 days from the start. So this is the team we've gone for, and it's pretty strong. We've brought Nana Fair back in up front alongside Joe Wills, but behind that, Sadler returns in goal. Hansen comes in at centre-half with Rakoski moving out to the right. Carlos and Adamson return on the left-hand side. Robertson on the right wing, Torres in alongside Bernberg, and Nana Fair. If there's ever a time to show up, it's now. He honours the top penalty take-up, which hopefully, if you get another one, you'll score. And away at Bournemouth, there's a chance of that because we should be on the attack for the most part. Well, John Rooney is the AFC Bournemouth manager, and there are not many familiar names in this team, but there is one in the middle that we briefly owned at Southend United. Martin Cox was one of those summer signings when we came up to the Premier League that I was very excited about. It just didn't work for some reason. He didn't find his best form, but as we've seen, he's still become a good Premier League player. So let's ask the boys to prove a point. Let's try and get the nerves out of Bernberg, who just cannot get it right. And hopefully, as we go through the tunnel interview, this will be a comfortable day at the office. We've not had many of them recently, but Bournemouth haven't won in 5. We're in decent form, and hopefully we'll show that today. Well, 10 minutes on the clock, and the first thing we're seeing is a raging attack from Bournemouth here, flying down the right-hand side, but a pass inside is poor, and Robertson nicks it. Now he's gone from right to left, and he's charging at the defence. There's one in the middle, there's three getting up in support, but it's a great ball towards Fair, who heads just over. We know it's going to take him a few weeks to settle, and obviously in the last game he missed a penalty. But I'm so excited about the prospect of him. If we can get it right, he could be as good as Kranic. There's no doubt in that. As Calver goes long downfield for Bournemouth. 20 minutes have passed without much incident. Could really do with getting a goal here. But as you saw in a lot of the recent games, we've had to wait till the second half to tire teams out, to wear them down. As Carlos finds Adamson. Finally getting a rest from the team in midweek after Vasquez returned. Bernberg to Wills to Adamson. It may well have paid off as well. What a lovely goal that is. A nice triangle on the left-hand side. And Adamson cuts in. He's been playing poorly for a month or so, but he's the one player who's just played virtually every game for 4 months. And he's had the rest. He's back in form. And he scores the goal to put us ahead. It's our only shot on target so far, but we only need one if we score them. Well, as we approach half-time, I've got to say, much like the Sheffield United game in midweek, not a good performance, but an effective one at the minute. And I keep saying to prove a point, because we've not been great. We've not been exciting to watch. I know we've got a new partnership up front. I know we've got a few changes in the defensive areas. But we've offered very little in this game, which is unlike us. Well, 9 gone in the second half, and we're on this left-hand side where the first goal came from. Carlos and Adamson playing a 1-2, releasing Joe Wills. And that is beyond fortunate. I don't know if it'll be awarded. I don't know if it's onside. But Nana Fair might have just scored one off his backside. Let's see. Goal awarded. Wills takes a shot which was wayward. It hits Nana Fair on the backside, deflects into completely the opposite corner of the net. And then the sort of goals, Ashley Carr just doesn't score, doesn't get himself in the right place, and as a result, doesn't get the goals. We're going to make some changes with the lead a bit more comfortable now. I'm going to take Bernberg off for Kivrakidis, I think. I'm going to take off Joe Wills for Teddy Ivanov. Vasquez will get another few minutes in place of Adamson. And Robertson's been average, so we'll bring on Ukulano. Got one change I can make at the back if I need to. But at 2, I'm not quite confident enough to do that yet. We've only had 2 shots on target. And now Nana Fair is bizarrely on corner duty. But he might have set up a penalty there because Herbert's been brought down. And he is the big threat in the box. If this is awarded, Nana Fair will have a chance to put the penalty demons behind him. It's awarded, and having already scored today, despite knowing nothing about it, he's got a chance at his first brace for the club. Can he add to his first ever Premier League goal? No, he can't. He's missed 2 in a row. What is it this year? We've had it in the Aberdeen save as well. The 2 best penalty takers I've managed in FM for a long time. And they just can't score them. The penalty taking rating has never ever been more useless. I maintain that no matter what. I'm going to take Ivo Torres off, I think. And replace him with Jimenez. Just again, freshen things up in the middle. But this is becoming a real puzzle. It seems the worse the penalty taking rating, the more likely the goal is. 15 minutes to go. Still a very comfortable performance so far. But without being particularly spectacular, that third goal could have really opened the floodgates. As it is, we have to wait for the corner. And it's headed in by Lewis Herbert. Hansen was up there as well. Lovely moment for Vasquez, who gets an assist too. He took the corner. And this has now turned into the afternoon we expected. A comfortable, comprehensive win. And when you look at the narrow Newcastle win, the narrow Brighton win at Liverpool, the Villa and Arsenal draw, this is a boost for the goal difference as well. And that could also be important with how tight the top of the table is. As Hansen finds Jimenez. Rakowski on the right, down the line to Ukulano. Can Fair put the penalty miss behind him, get in there and score one. Jimenez back to Kivrakidis. Up towards Fair, but it's a terrible ball. And our former player Cox gets it away. It's up to the centre forwards. Bournemouth got 2 up there. We have got men back in numbers, but we're yet to really challenge for the ball. We forced them all the way back to the centre halves, though. It's good pressing. And now, we nearly nicked the ball. Rakowski misses it, though. Hansen gets there, but a little bit too late. It's going to be a penalty. And unfortunately, the clean sheet might yet go. We got the one that mattered in midweek, but Rakowski missed his challenge. Hansen made a sloppy one. And now, unless Jude Sadler can produce some heroics, it will be 3-1 rather than 3-0. Sadler to preserve the clean sheet. Or will it be 2 missed penalties in a game? No, it won't. It's into the roof of the net. It's a great penalty. Why can't Nana Fair do that? What's your penalty taking rating? I want to know. I want to know the comparison. His is 12, of course. 11 finishing, 12 for penalties, 11 for composure. Just put it in the top corner, why don't you? Absolutely scandalous. 4 minutes of stoppage time played. We win very comfortably. We don't get the goal difference games I was talking about now. As it is, though, we return to a very healthy position. 53 points. It's a lot closer than previous years. The top 4 separated by 3 with just over a third of the season to go. Let's go to the schedule and see when we're going to be back. I think you know what's going to feature in the next episode, don't you? We go to the schedule. We are going to return for the Carabao Cup Final, our first ever one. And my God, look at those games. Do you know what? I think it's double-header time. It's Arsenal at home in the Premier League, second v third. The two teams who, with the games played, will be the favourites for the title. Whichever one wins goes top. And then the Carabao Cup Final against Liverpool. That is an episode you do not want to miss. Let me know in the comments whether you think we win one, both, or neither. Can we get our first Carabao Cup trophy on the board? And can we return with a run of clean sheets after disappointment in that late penalty concession against Bournemouth? If you enjoyed this one, please do chuck a thumbs up on it. Let me know what you think of the new striker and the bizarre penalty taking attribute problem this year. If you want to stay up to date and see in a couple of days' time if we can get on top in a title race and win our first Carabao Cup, then please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. In the meantime, we're back for a tense finish to the season with Copenhagen. You can find that playlist from the coach's head up in the eye above. We're also in the midst of a busy 4 days on the podcast channel with EFL and National League predictions, including what we expect from Southend this year. You can find the first of those where we look to head to the National League season up in the eye above from yesterday. Come and join us over there. And of course, there's also regular live streams on Twitch, including tonight, where we've got a Europa watch-along from Scottish football whilst playing a bit of FM2. I'll see you next time for the Carabao Cup Final, a massive one in this Southend save. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and fingers crossed we don't slip up at Norwich.